look back at my life, and all I see are the messes I made.
Welcome into another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. I am Jeff. That's my friend Ahmed in his cool new office. Today we are talking about one of the best shows on TV. The Boys is back for season 4, and it's just as fucked up and crazy as you remember it to be. Ahmed, you had recently gotten into this show, and now you're all caught up. What were your initial reactions of the first 3 episodes of season 4?
It's just as buckle up as the previous seasons, and I'm all for it. I'm kind of wondering how it's all gonna play out, and I love how everything is sort of connected. Every sort of the Boys universe spin-off, whatever, if you will, is connected, and I just can't wait to see how it all ties in. And now that I know that there's going to be one more season after this, I can't wait for this chapter to close.
Yeah, that's the thing here is now that we know that this show will end with season 5, you can kind of see how this show is setting up the end here. Like, you have a bunch of different conflicts. Butcher and Homelander, obviously, I don't think either of them are going to survive the show by the end of it. You have Starlight and Firecracker heading towards the showdown. And then you have, I think, the most compelling character of this season so far, which is Sister Sage, who is the smartest person in the world. And she is manipulating everything. I think she's even manipulating Homelander.
Well, right. And that's in a very Machiavellian kind of way. But when we get to the third episode, I wonder if something happened to her, because there's a little bit of a twist. She's, we'll get to that later, I guess.
Yeah. The smartest person in the world and the dumbest person in the world, potentially. Maybe there's a partnership there. I don't know. But, picking back up, Butcher is no longer the leader of the Boys. It is Mother's Milk. And, Butcher kind of forms this alliance with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and his character, Negan from The Walking Dead. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of things I love. There's some memorable sequences here. I think episode 3, if we're going to kind of talk about scenes, Ahmed, has the Vought on Ice sequence, which is just batshit crazy. That was probably my standout when it comes to all 3 episodes that we've seen so far.
That's interesting that you say that. I think for me, it's hard to... I think the one for me that stood out was whenever they all have to assault these alt-right, guys, when it's just they're caught off guard, and Homelander's just thank you for sacrificing yourselves. And then they get beaten to death by the very heroes that they worship. But then they're used as pawns to be look what happened, these poor guys. And it's if that's not Machiavellian, world takeover type of shit, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's a very scary thing to see, especially we're in a very heated election year this year. And you can tell it's a very topical show. It's going off of real world events, and it's scary for sure. Todd from season 3, who was MM's ex-wife's boyfriend, gets killed in that sequence. I love Noir in that sequence because it's not the real Noir anymore, so it's just some dude playing him. He's like, man, that was fucked up, and they're like, shut the fuck up, Noir. Shut the fuck up. Shit is so funny. There's a lot of interesting things here. The Will Ferrell cameo I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. Ferrell Streep.
It's I smell an Oscar, and it's the most hallmarky version of A-Train's life they could have made.
Movie. Yeah. No, but I think that's the point. And it's crazy to see how it's making fun of all the things that we typically like the stuff that we typically are geared towards. And I think kind of seeing the behind the scenes where the actors are like, oh yeah, people will come up to Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, and go, I really love your character. And he's like, wow, you clearly missed the point if you like my character.
Yeah. I had a nightmare about Homelander. Like, I had a nightmare he dropped into my backyard and was like threatening me and my family. That's how scary of a villain he is, and Anthony Starr is just probably the best villain on TV right now. Like, I feel like a sense of dread every single time Homelander is on screen, even when he's off screen. Like on that VOD on Ice sequence, I thought I was scared for MM. I was like,
Yeah,
is Homelander going to come up right now and get him? Like, it's just like the shark from Jaws is how I would describe Homelander. And he is probably the best character in this show right now.
that's fair. I mean, and I love that you called him a villain because that is what he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be an anti-hero. You can feel sympathy for him if you want to, but at the end of the day, he is a monster, and he's willing to admit that. But it also kind of ties into that theme of don't trust your hero or don't worship your heroes because you just never know what people are capable of, who they really are off camera, off screen, behind the scenes. I think for me, I really loved Black Noir. I don't know how I feel about this new Black Noir just because we're still getting to know him. But I just loved how surgical and methodical Black Noir was. And then when it came to the end of season 3, where you really got to get to know that he is really traumatized, very hurt, but he does have a soul somewhere in there. I think if I had to say who my favorite character is, I'd have to go with Butcher because he is the definition of an anti-hero. He's someone who's broken, misunderstood. Is he, are his methods correct? Absolutely not. But when you have to go toe to toe with someone like Homelander, who clearly has no conscience, no sense of, what is right or wrong, except what he believes is right or wrong, you have to kind of match that energy. That's why I loved that he took Compound V. But now I'm hoping that we'll still see Giancarlo Esposito as
Yeah.
Stan, because I think he is the best character. But who knows if we'll ever see him? But as far as season 4 goes, I still got to give it to Billy.
Yeah. There's another character too, like that is in the center of Homelander and Butcher, and that would be Ryan. Ryan is actually like the most important character in the show right now because he is what's pretty much keeping Butcher alive and what's keeping Homelander alive almost, because Ryan is conflicted. He wants to still be in touch with Butcher, and like I think they're going to be fighting over that kid by the end of this season. It's just really like crazy the way they've set it up, where he could either be this savior, the first naturally born superhero, or he could become a villain like his dad. So I really do love what they've done with Ryan as well.
I agree. I initially didn't care for the character just because I don't like how they've treated child characters in a lot of series. Degrassi was ruined by the new generation of child actors. I'm sorry. And maybe this makes me sound old, but I feel like whenever we try to give young actors like that shot, sometimes they just ruin the series altogether. Dexter Newblood, for example, they had really good intentions, and then it kind of just flopped at the end, in my opinion. But I like what they're doing so far, where they're showing he is conflicted. So I hope they do justice to Ryan and his character. I don't want it to be just a cliche. He ends up killing his dad or whatever. I want him to have a coming to reality type of moment where maybe he just says, I'm just going to walk away from it all. Who knows? But I really hope it's not just a cliche. But I think I have high hopes for the show. They haven't let us down this far.
Yeah. And speaking of what we think is going to happen, instead of going through rankings, because we're 3 episodes into this season, we're going to do predictions for the rest of the season. Ahmed, how do you see this shaking out?
I think, because I've never read the comics, I think that Billy Butcher will have like a last standoff, a last dance, if you will, with Homelander. And whether or not he wins is neither here nor there. But I think either way, he's going to die trying with the last bit of Compound V.
Yeah.
You know?
I could see Butcher dying at the end of this season. Like, it would be weird, a season without Butcher or Homelander. But we could be heading towards that. I think Newman, the new vice president, I think she kills the president at the end of this season, probably, and becomes the first soup in office. And that's going to be a whole bunch of chaos going into season 5. And I think Ryan maybe switches to the side of the boys by the end of this season. Those would be my predictions.
I also have another dark theory. I think by the end of it, maybe it'll be Shakespearean in that every soup will die, some sort of like thing where the last 2 big soups are Ryan, Billy Butcher, and Homelander, and it'll be like an epic Vegeta and Goku style fight where they're both evenly matched and they both kind of like die killing each other. And then Ryan, if it was, and this is me not being a professional writer, so this is probably going to be cliche, but just Ryan kind of going, I'm going to be the new face of like a new generation and kind of do everything right. But then as soon as he tastes a sense of spotlight, he kind of like, it's kind of like hinted at the audience that he likes it a little bit, or he thinks, do I like it? And that's how the show ends.
Oh shit! You are a professional. You are a professional writer, Ahmed. Don't sell yourself short, because that's a fucking great ending right there. Whew. Now that gave me chills.
Yeah, like where he's just like, no, this is gonna be all fixed, and then like the audience is clapping, and he's not sure if he likes it or if he should like it or not.
Yeah, whew. Yeah, I want that ending. You heard it, boys. Yeah, Eric Kripke, write that down. Okay.
Come on, man. I have a master's and I'm not looking for work, but come on, make me an
He's
offer.
open for business. He is open for business. All right, Ahmed, anything else you want to add or predict about season 4 before we get out of here today?
I feel bad for A-Train, man. I hope that like some of these characters that we've kind of like hated just because they're annoying, I hope they kind of like turn it around for us. They have a change of heart. I'm disappointed in the whole relationship thing between Kimiko and Frenchie. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that we completely forgot to talk about that. I feel like it kind of came out of left field, that one, because I thought Kimiko and Frenchie were kind of together at the end of last season, but
they were totally together.
Yeah, like they had a whole musical thing where, like, they had that like episode and breaking out of the hospital and all that. I want them to be together at the end. I think this is maybe a temporary, like, distancing thing, but it was very random for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully something comes out. I don't know what's going to happen with Huey. I think Huey might be my least favorite character, but I like that he's, developing a backbone.
Yeah. This show, fantastic, great cast, 2 great additions to the cast in Firecracker and Sister Sage. Want to see more of Jeffrey Dean Morgan going forward because he's a fantastic actor. Hopefully Soldier Boy comes back at some point this season because I loved him. You want
Soldier Boy to come back?
Yeah, he was such a douchebag. I loved him, and I love Jensen Ackles. So,
I will Sean Connery your ass.
Yeah, you're a fucking disappointment. I loved it. But yeah, that's what I got for the boys. This has been another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. We'll revisit this at the end of season 4. I'm Jeff. That's Ahmed. We will talk to you guys very, very soon for The Bear. See you then.